Hey, how's it going? Happy Tuesday to you, the start of the very best month of the year, October. Welcome to another edition of Sierra Live Q&A. My name is Robert Sagers. I'm the Customer Success Manager here at Sierra Interactive. We do these live Q&A sessions twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And this is your time to ask literally any question about Sierra Interactive that you would like to ask, and I will be here to answer it. And when I'm not able to answer it, I will point you to the right direction to get that answer. So what I would love for you to do, if you are hearing my voice and it is in the neighborhood of 2:05 p.m. Eastern, I would love for you to go ahead and send me your questions. If you're watching on Zoom, you can go ahead and send in your questions either via the chat box or the Q&A box. I can see all those questions that come in. Or if you're watching on Facebook Live in our mastermind group, which is at facebook.com/groups/Sierra Interactive. It's a closed group. But if you are a Sierra Interactive client and your site is currently live, we would love to have you in there. It's great for sharing best practices. It's a lively community. Then you can go ahead and just type in your questions as a comment below the video. So I would love for you to start sending in your questions. And while you're doing that, let me go ahead and point again to this video that you're seeing. This is a dummy site. It's a demo site. The admin area where we also have for displaying different answers to questions is a demo site. But that said, you do see this video of Louisville, Kentucky. And I just want to plug the Sierra Summit, which is coming up next March. It's March 4th, 2020. It's a one-day event. This is the very first time that we've done an event like this. It will be here in Louisville at the historic Seelbach Hotel, and it will be all day, and it will be pretty awesome. It's going to be all of you. It's devoted exclusively for Sierra clients. We're going to have some engaging speakers, top of mind topics. We've already trickled out some of that speaker list and the topic list within the mastermind group. And today, yesterday, the early bird registration ended for ticket prices, but that doesn't mean that these ticket prices aren't still at a great value. You can pick up one or more tickets at sierrainteractive.com. If you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see a little advert for the Sierra Summit. We would love for you to lock in your ticket now and join us. Many, many, many of you have already signed up to join us, and we're super pumped about that, and we'd love to have more of you. All right, well, let's go ahead and start diving in. Craig, I'm not 100% on where you're located. If you are located in a place, then I would love for you to tell me where that place is if I don't know it off the top of my head, because many of you I do know. And Craig, I just don't know where you're located. I think you're in California. So Craig says, is there a way to see what phone number was last called and or texted when there are two listed? So what Craig is referring to most likely is that in the lead dashboard, you do have the ability to add more than one phone number. Well, in an individual lead detail page, I should say. So let's go ahead and just look at a fake lead account here. And when we look at the information, we can edit, and we can actually add a second phone number, an alternate telephone number. And unfortunately, I don't think that there is a way to know which of those phone numbers you last chose. And I think what this comes back to, Craig, is probably you've got a lead spouse and their phone number and email address. And Sierra just doesn't have yet a great and elegant solution for interacting via text or email with a lead and their spouse, or a lead and their partner, or a lead with some significant other. Maybe it's their mom or something like that that you're also interacting with. And there's just not a perfect solution for that yet, but that's coming. We're going to make that better soon. All right, Craig did confirm that he is in Southern California. We have a couple of folks that have some California in their hearts, if not in their blood, within the Sierra office. I personally am from Oregon, but did go to college in California. So I can appreciate the Golden State. All right, I'm looking for additional questions. You can send them in either via the chat box or the Q&A box on Zoom, or you can send them in as comments beneath the video, as Craig did within the mastermind group. While I'm here and I've edited this question does come up with some frequency, If you do have a lead spouse, or maybe you just want to set one person up on an e-alert and you have somebody else in their life who also wants to get those Save Search e-alert emails, you can edit the user profile and you can add in a second email address. And watch what happens when I do. If I click Save, then this additional communication option displays right here. CC secondary email and listing alerts. You can simply toggle that to on if you wish. That said, don't necessarily recommend that you do it. If it may just be better for you to go ahead and create separate lead records for the person and their spouse or their partner or significant other, because as one of our clients pointed out, and I've not tested this myself, but I do trust this person very much in what he says. If you've got this lead and this secondary email address getting that Save Search e-alert as well, the person who's being CC'd, maybe the wife or the significant other, that will unsubscribe the main lead record from the Save Search e-alert as well if they unsubscribe. So don't necessarily want to do that. It's probably best for you, as Sierra is structured at this moment, to create separate lead records for both people. All right, Craig, if that answers your question, please let me know. If it doesn't, even more so, please let me know and I'll be happy to clarify. All right, I'm looking for additional questions. You can send them in via the chat box or the Q&A box in Zoom or as a question within Facebook Live. All right, Joe in Florida. Hey, Joe asks, my agents are excited about the single property websites. Who should I contact at Sierra to pay for it? Cool. So Joe, if I understand your question correctly, I do have some good news for you, and that is that rolled up into your subscription cost, just rolled up into your monthly subscription, is the ability to create up to 100 single property sites at any given time. I mean, you can archive a site if maybe you have a listing and you sell it and you don't need it anymore, and that gives you another free number. So here's what may be important for you to know, Joe. If you've got agent level users who are wanting to edit a single property site, there's a couple things to know. One is that in an individual user profile, so click on users, then click on users again to access the user manager. Like we could go to, let's say, Ashley. Ashley is on our sales team and she is awesome, very pleasant and kind person. If you've gotten to interact with her, you would absolutely agree. If you go to her user profile on this dummy site, there will be a little section down here for, I believe, you're not going to see it because I'm not the primary manager emulating. Give me 1 second. Let me find the primary manager and emulate them. All right, now we'll go to users again. Let's go to Ashley. And let's just go ahead and do a Control F. Oh. And I don't know why that is. It's just because the demo site, but I'm nearly certain there will be a permission here for the single property site. So let me just show you another way you can do it. There should be a permission here within here that you can turn on for individual users. But additionally, if you do have access for it, you're going to see this little option for property sites. This is how you access the single property sites. If you are able to create it, you can actually give access to one or more users on your account to that particular single property site. It's down here in the agent info/access section. So if you go there, we'll just go ahead and save it so it gets something started. Then you can invite in right here. See where it says grant access to? You can grant access to this individual single property site to these agent level users. And maybe that's why. I'm guessing now as I'm thinking about it that manager level users by default have access to single property sites. So let's go to an agent profile. And we'll look at Drake's. He's an agent level user on this account, and that is indeed the case. So primary manager, manager level users will have access by default to single property sites. You can grant access to individual agent level users to be able to create single property sites in their user profile. There will be this little section for single property site. You can give them access to create and manage all sites. So whether you create it, they create it, anyone creates it, you get a site, then they can come in and edit. Or you can give them access only to create and manage their own single property sites. And additionally, you did see where I turned on that or showed you when you do create a site, you can give access to one or more agents on your team to just that one site if you wish, and when you're creating it. Now, in terms of payment, when you do create these single property sites, you do have 3 different options in terms of a domain. You can create up to 100 of these, but you still have to have a domain, right? It's got to go somewhere on the internet. So you can purchase a domain through Sierra, and I'll show you here if we go, and I'm just going to come back and emulate myself. Give me one moment. Property sites. And these are just a template. They're really straightforward. Like if you click on Add New Site, you just work down the left-hand side. It may look a little intimidating at first because it's like, oh, there's a lot of things there. But some of these things you may not even need to do. But man, there is so much power in these single property sites. And the cool thing is they're just rolled up into your subscription cost. You even can make it look one of 2 different ways. You have a different layout. You can modify this on the fly if you want. So here's layout 1. And then I'll go ahead and show you, here's layout 2. And you can make your site look like either one. Like this background image right here, for people who are looking on a non-mobile device, you can make that a video, a looping video if you want. There's just a lot going here, and I'm not going to go into every detail because you didn't ask about that, but there's 3 different ways you can pay for that domain. And that is, if you go to domain mapping, you can either register a new domain, 123mainstreet.com through Sierra, enter it in, find out if it's available, buy it. It's going to cost you $16 USD for you Canadian friends, $16 a year for that domain if you purchase it through Sierra. You can also, probably for a little less expensive, I don't know, but just it's the convenience really. If you want to do it yourself, DIY, you can BYOD, bring your own domain, and you can simply go to like GoDaddy or domains.com or whatever Namecheap, and you can purchase a domain there, maybe for less than $16 a year, and then you can update the A record to point to this IP address within wherever you registered that domain. The third option, and this is covered in some amount of detail in the knowledge base article on single property sites, and I'll show you where that is momentarily, is that you can buy one domain. So maybe, jobatagproperties.com. And then you can have Sierra Support enable subdomains out of that domain. And a subdomain is the value, the text value that appears before the domain. So like 123 Main Street dot joesproperties.com, 456 Conestoga Avenue dot joesproperties.com. And that way you make one purchase, create 100 sites out of it, save yourself some money, keep some continuity in terms of branding. It's probably the route I would suggest. So here's where I want to point you to if you want to know more. Simply go to our extensive and searchable knowledge base and type in the word single property site, if you can type. And you'll find a knowledge base article here for generate buyer leads and entice seller leads with a Sierra single property site. And this will tell you about, and there it is, primary manager and all manager level users, etc. That's what we were looking at earlier. You can simply check out more information here, and then down here there is the option for optionally choose to create single property sites as subdomains with the help of Sierra Support. It's going to tell you how to do that, what your email needs to include to support, and then you can just create as many of those sites as you want, up to 100 of them at any given time. All right, I am looking for additional questions, and Joe, if that didn't answer your question or if you need any clarification about anything, just let me know. All right, Lawrence on Zoom asks, I have a question about the home value website used to collect seller leads. All right, go ahead and send in your question, Lawrence, and while you're doing that, I'm just going to kind of give a quick overview of seller lead sites. If you click on the gear icon next to property sites, you've got this option for seller lead sites. You can create up to 25 of these. And it's a similar setup to single property sites, just less that's required in terms of these tabs, but it's still just a template where you're just working down the line. You can choose one of these default photos, or you can upload your own image and go ahead and create these home valuation tools. I'll show you a sample one, sierrasellersites.com. And they're a very simple home valuation tool. And you can modify this text and the image I believe this CTA, this find out button, you can modify as well. So we'll just go ahead and type in 123 Main Street, and it's going to work you through, you know, how many bedrooms does your house have, and how many bathrooms, and are you really looking to sell or not? You're just curious. And you can enter in your information, and anybody who fills out this form is going to be registered as a seller lead on your account. They're also going to be tagged, I believe, with the domain of the seller lead site. So you could even run lead routing rules to route these leads to an agent or set of agents, provide follow-up plans automatically within your lead routing rules, etc. And then if there's information available, it'll give them a home valuation. I think 2 different services, I think Zillow and eAppraisal, I think those 2. The other option, well, let's just go ahead and show you, okay. We're generating our report, and there it is, Zillow, and I think eAppraisal is the other one that will come sometimes as well. And it may also say, hey, this information isn't available, we'll reach out to you. And then when you see that lead come through, you can run your own comprehensive market report and email that to the lead. All right. What's your question though, Lawrence? Does Sierra support / build these? We do support them, as I just showed you. And additionally, we don't build them for you. These are sites that you can build, and you can build them within about, you know, a good 180 seconds, maybe 3 minutes. The other thing I want to mention to you all is that if, you know, you may or may not know, one of the cool things about your Sierra account, if you're watching this, this almost certainly applies to you, is that we can manage Google Ads campaigns for you. It's just rolled up into your subscription cost. The only cost that comes to you is the time to fill out the form to say that you want to set these up, and number 2, whatever your monthly budget is for Google Ads. Sierra doesn't take any set fee from your budget, doesn't take any percentage. Sierra provides that service for you as a part of your monthly subscription. All you're devoting is your budget. And you can split that with a lender partner if you wish, or you can kind of split that billing within the, you can set it up within the Sierra admin if you wish. But the cool thing is most of our clients, probably the majority, vast majority even, will run Google Ads campaigns devoted to buyer leads. You can run those through Sierra devoted to seller leads. You can drive seller-oriented traffic to a home valuation site like the one I just showed you, and generate some seller leads with your Google Ads budget. If you want to know more about that, just go to the knowledge base, type in Google Ads, and there's this article on setting up Google Ads PPC with Sierra. Now this is a long article, but don't be intimidated. It just has a lot of FAQs. And you'll find more information about the seller lead oriented campaigns. You'll find more about split billing with a lender partner. Here's the link for the questionnaire. That's how you can get started. Okay, you are welcome, Lawrence. Joe, one thing I wanted to follow up with you about the single property sites, you talked about if your agents want to use them. If your agents go through and are purchasing those single property sites through Sierra, the bill is going to come, I think, to the primary card on file. So you'll want to work out with your agents some kind of, you know, reimbursement if you're not going to pay for it, you know, they buy it, or you can just require that your agent level users or anybody else creating them, if you don't want to pay for it with the primary card. And again, it's not a crazy amount, $16 a year for per domain. So you got a couple different options. You can, you know, tell your folks what they can do and not do, work out a system with them, or you can do that, what I suggested, the buy one domain and have Sierra enable subdomains out of it. All right, Brian, and Brian, I think you're in Massachusetts. Hey, Brian. You're probably having more of a fall than Louisville is. It's a high of like 97 degrees here today. It's a record-breaking day on October 1st. It's wild. Brian asks, what does it mean to auto-send an on-site message? I see that when I add an on-site message to a traditional campaign. Cool. Absolutely, Brian. So when you create, I mean, you can do this at an individual level in an individually detailed page, or you can make it a part of a traditional action plan. Let me just show you what, first of all, what an on-site message is. I will just grab a lead here. We'll go back to our Sierra test lead. He's in the qualify status, or she. If you check out here above primary information, there's going to be these different things you can do. One of them is on-site message, site MSG. That doesn't have to do with salt. Has to do with message. It's truncated. And you can go ahead and add an on-site message. And what that will do is the next time this lead comes to your site, they're going to see this little overlay on the website that's just for them. They're going to be logged in their account. They're going to see it. So use case could be something like this. Let's say that Sierra Test gave us a bad phone number. We've tried to contact them and we're not getting through to them. And we can see that they're continually coming back to the site. We see in the properties tab, hey, they're looking at properties, really want to call them or really want to text them, and they gave us this bad number. So one of the things you could do is you could say, you could add an on-site message. Hey, Sierra, I've been trying to get in touch with you about your home search. Would you mind confirming the best number I can call or text? And then boom, that's going to show up for them the next time they head to your site. And then you can modify this so that you can give them the option to include, you know, to update their profile, maybe update the phone number, maybe they fat fingered it, so to speak. Give a reply button, they can send a message back to you, and then you can choose if you want to be notified and then add the message. Okay, so what Brian is referring to in particular is within a traditional action plan, you do have, and just to be clear, two different types of action plans. Fully automated, newer, three different activity types: voicemail drop, email, text message. Everything's done in an automated fashion. The plan will auto pause if a lead replies to anything while they're on the plan. Traditional action plan, older, 5 different activity types: email, text, message, on-site message, phone call, other task. And those first 3 items, the email, text, and on-site message, can be done in an automated fashion or a manual fashion. The phone call and other tasks have to be done in a manual fashion. So when you do choose to set up a traditional action plan, and you do choose to take the activity type on-site message, you can have the option here to make it auto send, which means that it will show up on the site automatically as opposed to you having to manually do it on the date that you assign it. Long way around your answer, but I always do want to give a little bit of context to the questions for people who are like, what's an on-site message? What's a traditional plan? What does that mean? So hope that you're able to bear with me, Brian. All right, I am looking for additional questions. You can send them in either via the chat box or the Q&A box if you're watching on Zoom. And if you're watching in Facebook Live, go ahead and just type in your question as a comment, as our friends Craig, Joe, and Brian have already done. Or Zoom, as our friend Lawrence has done. You're welcome, Brian. If you have any follow-up questions or anything that you need clarification on about anything, just let me know. All right, I am looking for additional questions. So this is the dummy site. It doesn't have social login. So I've gone ahead and registered for a site or for an account. So now I'm logged in to test account. So let's go ahead and assign an on-site message overlay, and I'll just show you what it looks like. You can do this on your end of things, and just like so much within the Sierra platform, a lot of questions can be answered just by creating a fake lead account and testing on yourself, right? So we'll go in here to test lead. This is our test lead that we've just created. We'll claim the lead, so it's claimed. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's go back. Let's go check out test lead here. Okay, here's test lead. I may I may have broken Sierra Interactive. I may have broken Sierra because I claimed, there it is. Okay, I was like, because I claimed the lead when it was being distributed, but I didn't break it. Sierra lives on. So we're going to go to on-site message. Hey there, would love to connect. Give me a call. Let's go ahead and give these all these options. All right, so let's head back to the front of the site, and fingers crossed when we refresh this page, we will indeed see this little on-site message overlay. Hey there, would love to connect, give me a call. Update my profile, reply to agent. Let's reply. Sounds great. I will call tomorrow. Send message, cool, done. We'll come back to our lead back here. We'll do a refresh. And there's my reply. Which date I sent it, and when I sent it on. Pretty cool, right? Lawrence asked, when you upload your contact list, does it remove duplicates? And what info should we use? Just name, phone, and email address. Cool. All right, Lawrence, so what you're talking about is the Lead Import Wizard. If you go to the knowledge base, there is a nifty article on Lead Import Wizard. And you can simply check out that article. And what this article will provide you is the various fields that you can import. So if you've got a CSV file, maybe you're exporting leads from another platform, another CRM, it'll almost certainly export into columns, you know, first name, last name, email address, phone number, mailing address, etc., etc., etc. And if all you want is a name, phone, and email, it's all you need. What you absolutely need, we're right now working through the difference between wants and needs with my son, who's going to turn 4 next month. You don't need it, you want it. What you need, though, for a lead record in Sierra is an email address, and it must be unique on your account. And so even if it's a fake one, test@test.com, it's no one else on your account, no other lead can have that email address. And it needs an email address. So if you simply check out this article, it will explain that and more. And all you'll do is you'll grab that. So here are all the fields. There's lots of them, right? Everything that's in bold right here. There's my little thing about the little thing about the fake email address. And more here. So just pay attention to these details. You can do this. Okay, what you'll do is you'll update, and here the Jeff will show you, you'll upload the CSV, and what the Sierra system is going to do is try and match those fields. So like first name matches with first name, last name matches with last name, etc. And you can go through and you can grade how well Sierra did, because maybe it matched email with address, which it wouldn't, but you get the picture, and you can just kind of update it and edit it such that everything is matching in the way that you want it to match, and then you can click save and import, and it will start importing all those leads. Couple things to note. One, no automatic notification is going to go out to those leads. Number two, so you'll still need to contact them, which you can do. If you want to know more about that, let me know. You can create a drip campaign. You can use a merge field for auto login link, for example, and send it out. Hey, welcome to the new and improved myawesomerealtorwebsite.com. So it's pretty much that's pretty much the deal. If you go to contact templates, you can import a Sierra-oriented contact template, and we actually, for that exact use case, give you a contact template that you can import. The other thing to note is that if you just totally botch this and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is not at all how I wanted this to look, you can just go to the button up here, lead import history, and delete it and do it again. All right, I am looking for additional questions. If you're watching on Zoom, you can just send it in via the Q&A box or the chat box, either one. And you're welcome, Lawrence. If you are watching on Facebook Live, you can just send in your question as a comment beneath the video. All right, well, I'm not seeing any additional questions coming in. I will go ahead and start landing the plane. If you've got more questions, just type them in and I'll get to them. unless I'm gone, in which I won't, case I won't. Couple things that I want to point out is that if you are a primary manager or a manager level user, you're going to see this light bulb icon in the admin. This has two drop-down options: announcements, where we release news to you of note, new features, new feature enhancements, other things that we need you to or want you to be aware of. And then there's also a request a feature. You've got 3 votes. You can go and submit new feature requests or vote on existing ones. Beneath the question mark inside the speech bubble, whether you're a lender, an agent, a manager, or the primary manager, you're going to see the ability to access the knowledge base. I've showed you that a few times already. It's extensive and searchable. Everybody also sees at least this first getting started guide. This is really intended for agents and lender level users. 7 videos, just under 15 minutes of content. It's intended to help you onboard your team well, get them started with the CRM and how to use it well. The Sierra platform well. And then if you're a primary manager or the manager level user, you're also going to see this getting started guide for account admins. It looks a little scary. All right, my emulation timed out. Just a second. What a cliffhanger, you know? It looks a little scary. This admin level getting started guide has 26 videos within 7 sections, but it's just over 1 hour of content. And a few things to note: a lot of the videos are really short. If you do the math on that, you would have already discovered that for yourself. Additionally, this is really like a checklist for site health. If you're able to watch these videos, maybe in one browser tab with another browser tab open side by side, and you're able to follow along with these videos over the course of a couple hours, or maybe broken out in a little bit of time each day, or several times a day, you can feel confident that your site is in a good and healthy place. 3 things that are not in here that I think would be worth your knowing about. If you go to the knowledge base, well, 4 things. I'm going to say 4. The Sierra Sidebar Manager, the Sierra Section Manager, the Sierra Agents Manager, and the Integrations Manager. All right. We've had more interest in Facebook and in Zoom. Lawrence asks, are you taking questions about GGMS also? I'm not, but if you do have a question, I can try and hack it. But if you're asking about the way that their plans for conversion and stuff, I just don't have the knowledge that Josh and Michael at GGMS are going to have. They do have their own closed Facebook group, and they're frequently in our mastermind group as well for Sierra. So if you do have questions about that, you can reach out to them in their Facebook group or via their support line. All right. Mark Washburn, I think you're in Washington, D.C., Mark. Mark asks, is the homepage slideshow on the demo site a standard feature that we can access? Yeah, so this is what's called the hero image. If you have a Sierra Pro site, then you can just go to the Pro site settings and you can go to primary photo search, and you'll have the option not only to upload what's called a hero image, but you also have this hero video. And you can just type in, add in your YouTube or Vimeo URL there. And for people who are watching on non-mobile devices, like a desktop or a laptop like I'm on right now, they're going to see this video. Otherwise, they'll see the hero image. If you've got a Premiere site, we can still do it. You'll need a Vimeo Plus account, and you'll need $125. I think that's the cost. It's 1 hour of programming time to make it happen. Premiere sites to do this does take custom programming time. Our cost for programming time is very inexpensive. You can just reach out to support@sierrainteractive.com and we can give you more details about how to do it. It's typically something we can turn around pretty quick, but we can do the same thing on your Premiere site. All right, Scott Hack asks, is there a knowledge base article that talks about URL variables and highlights the things like I attempted to do in the mastermind group? Not to my knowledge, Scott. Not to my knowledge. Scott says, hey, Mark. I don't think that was intended for me. Just kidding. For Mark Washburn. Mark says, hey, Scott Hack. Isn't that fun? Craig in Southern California, not to be confused with Northern California, says, is there a best practices to not have our caller ID show up as scam likely? Ugh. Yeah, you're probably referring to the Sierra dialer. Probably, I don't know. I mean, it could be that you had, so whatever number you grabbed was utilized by somebody more nefarious than Craig previously, and you can get a different number instead. Um, Also, I guess I would always just suggest for legal reasons and otherwise, you don't want to spam people with calls and texts and voicemail drops. But if something like that occurs, then I don't really have a great answer for you beyond those things, what I've just suggested. You can always try and grab a different Sierra dialer number if you want. The cool thing about that is that, let's say you have a dialer number and you've been using it for a while, so you've got agents who are conditioned to texting or calling that number. If you do go to voice and text settings and you add a different number, you can grab a different number, save it, and then you can go and delete the first number, and you can have the option either to delete it completely, or for $2 a month, you can save it and have it forward to your new number. So leads and who are conditioned to calling and texting that other number that you got rid of, it'll forward automatically to your new number. All right, Craig says, seems like most VoIP numbers are coming up that way. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen a mass number of messages come in. I may have missed them. It certainly is likely. I don't mean that sarcastically. Certainly could have missed them. But I don't know. I don't know that that's what's going on. All right. All right, I'm looking for additional questions, and if I missed one, because Mark's and Scott's back and forth made it so that for whatever reason, and it may just be because I have to text, Mark Zuckerberg and figure out why this is, but I think Facebook Live only lets you see 4 comments, the most recent 4. So if you asked a question that I didn't answer, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's just because Mark and Scott were talking to each other and they pushed comments down. So if you do have a question that I didn't answer, go ahead and copy and paste it and send it back on up. The last 4 comments I can see, and I have addressed them all. And if I don't see anything come in the next moment or so, we'll go ahead and wrap up since I've already done my plane landing. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and wrap it there. I hope that you all have a great rest of the day. I'll see you on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Scott says, whatever, Robert, in angry all caps. It's okay. Scott is a good friend of Sierra, so we'll forgive him of that. I hope that you'll have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's been a privilege to be with you, and I hope you have, even in the next 2 days, a tremendous amount of success with Sierra. Talk to you later.